Okay, here we go. This is you, Capricorn. This is Tarot Lumination. This is your love and relationship report for what we call April 2018. Cards were already well shuffled in advance, just going to the last second so that you're a witness. No jumpers, no flyers, no oracles, no reversals. Sorry, not enough time or space. And I love the cards. They were originally intended anyway. We're going to use the crucible spread that I like. On the understanding that there's you, Capricorn, and a significant other, and the relationship itself, which is a third entity with a third identity, energy, mission, purpose of its own, and in a healthy relationship. Both parties understand that, and they invest in the relationship. They build the crucible. You'll see in a moment. Singles, I know some of you watch this, and if you want to, you can adapt this reading through the laws of attraction, and you'll see in a moment, this would be your energy, this would be the significant other, but this would be more like the what if. In other words, because you're always radiating energy, but if they're not there actually in person, this might be like the what if kind of energy if they were in person, okay? Simply through the laws of attraction in action, that's all. Okay, so let's get to it. Oh, by the way, I was looking at the charts. The coming right at the very tippy end of March on the 31st is that, I think it's a full moon, Aries Libra, and it's in a very hard square with all the Capricorn energy up there in Pluto, Capricorn, and Mars. In Pluto, Saturn, and Mars. And so, you know, you might feel as though you're under quite a lot of pressure, Capricorn, right at the beginning of April. Even though it's not directly on you, it's directly on you because you're one of the cardinal signs, and it's in a very hard square, T-square by degree. And also later in the month, I'm just going to show you, this is not an astrology channel, but I'm just going to show you, I found this that might interest you, dear Capricorns. Around April 21st, for a few days, there's going to be a Cancer moon. And it's going to be almost like your own private full moon event, because it's going to be so strong, because it's in a hard opposition with all your own Capricorn energies over here, wherever this lies in your chart, you know, wherever this might be. So, and at the same time, there's going to be all the hard squares energy with the remnants of this Aries. Okay, so I'm just pointing it out. Just put a note on your calendar. Just be very careful around April 21st. And then, you know, towards May, it's going to change again, more comfortable for you. So I guess put it this way, coming straight into April, coming out of March 31st with that full moon, and then paying attention around the 21st. Okay? Just significant calendar moments I thought you might want to know for you, dear Capricorn, in particular. Watch for your sun, moon, and rising, of course, all of those things, and then squish it all together and reinterpret however you want. It's your reading. It's not a couple's reading. It's just for you, Capricorn, but you can do the cross watches if you want. Okay? I know people do that. So here we go. Here we go. All right. Please bring in your angels. Tarot Illumination brings in angels, so it would be great if you do too. Make it a team effort, okay? All right, here we go. This would be your radiance over here. This would be the significant other. This would be deep in the soul of you, deep in the soul of the other, and the relationship itself, okay? And then prospects, momentum over here, and we're going to look at circumstantial energy over here in terms of the weather. We have the Seven of Wands. So to me, in this particular reading, I think we had it in another reading in this position. My feeling is that, especially with the early part of April, you could feel really, really challenged or almost boxed in, where you're having to, you don't have 1 second to yourself to just hang out and be Capricorn. It's all about just maintaining your identity, your structure, your position, your honor, your dignity, and you're being encouraged to do that as well. In other words, don't let your guard down. Maintain your integrity, maintain your posture, understand that you will endure. It's just that, you know, with the tarot, it's very subjective, but when we integrate the astrology, it's very specific. March 31st, big full moon, Aries Libra, with the Capricorn T-square in the middle. Very, very potentially challenging for you, but you can handle it, all right? Let's have a look. What's going on here? So with the Nine of Swords, it might be that you're already, let's just say, diving right into April, like stressed out to the max, where like all the worst of the worst possible things in the context of love and relationship are being exposed, and you feel it and you're aware of it, especially up in the mind, literally, like just like the imagery, like when you're falling asleep at night or waking up in the morning and the filters are very, very open and you're connected, you know, as close to heaven as you can get pretty much for most people, then all the things that are not working for you would become evident. It could be anything like long-term intimacy issues, financial issues, family issues, children, spouses, money, locations, jobs, lack of romance, imbalance of romance or whatever it is, lack of intimacy, whatever it is, just like an endless stream of whatever's not working. And if that's what you're radiating, well, we could say that that might be something to do with all the pressure that was happening during the Pisces period, where there was a lot of pressure to reveal it, to heal it. A lot of pressure on the Chiron, Pisces and Chiron right there for everyone to basically go deep, allow your deepest wounds to become exposed, and then deal with it, because you can't heal them without revealing them. Okay? You've got to reveal it to heal it. So my feeling here is that you're in the process and it's not pretty. Not liking what you see, not liking what you feel, not liking what you're, like the history that you've had to deal with, not liking the prospects that you're anticipating. In other words, all the worst of the worst is coming to the surface. Doesn't mean the end of the world. It just means at a light bulb moment, it's just like, oh no, not this again, or not that, or not that. Oh my gosh, what are we going to do? So that's not very appealing or very attractive in terms of, attracting juiciness and love to you. But it could attract what you need in terms of, I don't want to do the savior-victim type relationship dynamic, but sometimes it's appropriate where if you need a lot of help right now to deal with your own stresses and anxieties, instead of trying to handle it the Capricorn way, being the boss and the leader, and everyone else comes to you for help, maybe it's time for you to admit that you could do with some TLC, all right? Especially if it's like a struggle to hold all this together. Let's have a look at the other. Okay. Well, my feeling, I'll tell you why I felt some humor here, Capricorn. Partly my feeling is that you're relating to someone who is in some ways on certain aspects of the relationship dynamic in ways that need to work for you in a way that makes sense in the solid, reliable, steady, contractual, three-dimensional ways that a Capricorn would like a relationship to work. You might be dealing with someone who has completely lost it. That's my feeling, to the point where they're off on their own trip, whether it's like their own ego trip, or whether it's just their own journey, and they're totally oblivious of you and what's actually happening in the relationship, which is fine for them. They might be completely unaware of like the inner depths of the relationship, and they might be just operating out here perfectly fine in their own world, not aware that they're relating to you, and you are in, let's say, deep stress right now, trying to figure it out, try to handle all this. And with this kind of, let's say, incongruity here between yourself and a significant other, it would make it almost impossible to figure out what has to be done in order to reveal it, to heal it. In other words, whatever is being revealed in order to be healed, nobody over here is noticing. It's just like they're not even aware. They don't even care. They might be just happy as they are, and that can be a problem, because it's almost the feeling like, where is the relationship? Who are you? Where are you? Do you have, in other words, pretend I'm Capricorn and like I'm talking to you, like, do you have Do you have any idea what's going on with this? Or do you have a clue? Do you even care? Are you just so wrapped up in your own world that you're not aware of me and my world? We do have a relationship, you know. And they're like, what was that you were saying, dear? What was that, honey? Sorry. And then you've got no choice but to go, oh my God. So it's almost like if you're trying to, even if you're, courageously trying to figure stuff out, it's like trying to capture something that can't be captured here. You can't even figure it out because they're not even aware that stuff needs to be figured out. Let's have a look deep down inside. To me, it feels like part of you is deep down wishing for relief, wishing for some kind of miracle to happen where this, whatever is not working for you, it's almost like, please God, please drop a bomb on the relationship and let's blow everything up. I'm not talking about the Tower card or the Death card or anything here, but please, I want redemption. I want reconciliation. I want harmony and balance again. I want to start from scratch, deep at the soul level, because I know we've got all these issues going on. I've got all this stuff going on, and we're talking about a love relationship here, but it feels to me that you, Capricorn, it's almost like you would like to be released from this energy over here of the Fool, so that you're not captive by their whimsical nature. They might be completely loving and innocent and totally devoted to you from their own perspective and be completely unaware of how dysfunctional things might actually be in the context of a full relationship, simply because they're not taking that perspective. And that puts a tremendous burden on you, like, well, it's almost like Capricorn saying, what the heck am I supposed to do if they don't even have a clue? Like, even if you do try to go with them and address the issues and say, you know what, honey, we really need to talk. We really need to take care of some stuff because there's an awful lot of stuff that's not working in this relationship. And we need to, like, whatever's not working for you with me, I need you to forgive me. And whatever's not working with me for you, I want you to give me some suggestions about what to do next, because I can't handle all of this on my own. And then they go, what was that, honey? What's the matter? We just had a great shopping trip, or the kids are fine, or like, I know you love me. What's the problem? Why don't you just take a nap or take some aspirin or something? Like, and then you're stuck, like, what am I supposed to do here? And so deep down, the soul is crying out, like, forgive me, release me. I want redemption. I want reconciliation. I want to reboot this and make it start from, I want to be blessed. I want to make it work, but it's hard to make it work with someone who's not even aware that there's not even a problem. Let's have a look going on deep inside of them. Okay, well, here's the thing. With the Nine of Wands, it might actually be that they are aware that there are some serious challenges going on in the context of the relationship, but they're not willing to acknowledge that in day-to-day life. Like the whole concept of this relationship being out of whack for your significant other, Capricorn, is just unacceptable. It's non-negotiable. You don't even talk about it. And that's a problem, because deep down in their soul, it looks to me like they're very, very aware that there's some very serious problems going on here, but they're not addressing it. They're not bringing it to the surface. They're just carrying it, and it's smoldering. It could be long-term. It could be just a lot of long-term bitterness, conflict, anguish, disconnections, every possible ingredient in a relationship that you can imagine that's not working, and it's just been piling up and piling up and piling up, and they're still piling it up. And deep down inside of them, there's the energy of like smoldering grudges, that type of energy, which only makes it worse for you, and yet they would be conducting themselves as though absolutely nothing's wrong. In other words, like this is a complete disconnect between their three-dimensional selves, the roles that they're playing, the hats they're wearing, the behaviors they're exhibiting, relative to what's actually going on inside, which is a deep awareness that certain things are seriously out of whack. So that's a lot of polarity here, and that might be something to do with Aries Libra full moon and the Capricorn energy right in the middle, like pushing things to the extreme, where that whole Aries Libra dynamic is being really pushed to the limit. Like, how on earth am I, Capricorn, supposed to maintain myself and integrity and happiness in a relationship and allow for them in a relationship and for them to be themselves when they're behaving like this? You can't function in a healthy relationship when the other party is behaving like this. And deep down inside their smoldering energy, they might be thinking to themselves, well, you know what? It's all your fault anyway. I wouldn't be like this at the soul level if it wasn't for you and all your issues. Blah, 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 blah. And that just makes it worse and worse and worse and worse. So it's no wonder you would want to just like scream up to heaven and say, get me out of here. But I don't know what to do, how to do it, because I want what works. So it's a very awkward situation. That's what I'm feeling. And it's going to be exposed. You might feel it around April 21st. That's what I'm suggesting. And then maybe right at the end of the month with the Taurus new moon, whichever it is. Hold on, give me a second. With the Taurus Scorpio full moon, which is much more harmonious towards you, you might have a better understanding. But April itself could be very challenging for you. That's all I'm suggesting. And it's just going to need quite a lot of strength and courage to get through. And you're being encouraged to hold your ground and get through this, because you might be up against some very, very difficult energies to actually bring into conversation. Some problems are so severe, so buried, that people just don't want to deal with them. They just want to act a role and continue everything going totally blind, like autopilot, like, we know what we're doing, honey, everything's just fine. Like, even if you did ask them, even if you did try to bring everything into like a conflict resolution situation, like they would do in warfare, like, okay, enough, let's stop the fighting, let's talk. It's still difficult. So let's have a look at the core. Okay, well, this doesn't surprise me at all with the Two of Pentacles here. This is your reading about you, Capricorn. My feeling is that what's happening here is that you're the one having to do all the work of trying to maintain equilibrium and balance and harmony in a relationship that is in some way seriously out of whack. It's not fair, it's not right, but that's just what it looks like, how it is. And your soul is crying out for redemption, forgiveness, and freedom for like whatever you've done wrong. Because sometimes, you know, people are judged and condemned for doing all sorts of things that don't work in a relationship, that destroy the relationship, but none of it is spoken. It could be just smoldering and smoldering, but they don't want to lose the relationship, so they're carrying on as though everything's perfectly fine, and then it leaves you having to carry the whole burden of making sure it continues as it's fine, so that they can continue in their chosen role without having to adapt and modify and grow up and mature. So that's tough for you. So it means you're having to do all the balancing out. You're the one who has to hold the ballast in the relationship while all the inner turmoil is smoldering and festering and bubbling and going there, in order for everything to be like, hello, everything's just fine, yay. It's not. Okay, let's have a look. Prospects. Okay, so this might be a very like rude wake-up call that it's time to take charge here. Take charge of the situation, Capricorn, and own it with the Chariot, understanding that the reality might be that there are some seriously messed up issues in the relationship dynamic here, and that it can't be left on autopilot. You can't just act as though everything is just fine and everything's just on autopilot, and it's not good. In other words, if there's a serious rift or a serious imbalance, or things are really out of balance, and you're the one that's constantly having to try and keep it in balance, that's not healthy. It takes two, okay? In a relationship, it's two. So It's almost like this intense stress here and all the pressure of having to deal with it and probably being blamed for anything and everything that's going wrong without being told or without open. In other words, it's just like, everything's fine, honey, but double-crossing, low-light, and you know that. You can sense it because you're not a fool, okay? But it does put a lot of pressure and stress on the relationship. It might come to a full awareness around the 21st, and then some chance for some resolution right at the end of the month. But in the meantime, it means it's like a wake-up call, like enough is enough is enough. I need to get a grip here. I need to take charge, take ownership. I need to bring everything to the table here. I need to bring in all the things that are not working, bring in all the things that are working, and I got to lay it out, like the facts. I'm going to take charge. I'm not going to put up with this charade anymore. Charade's no longer acceptable, okay? And yeah, it might not be fun, it might not be pretty, but it might be the perfect way to bring redemption and reconciliation and harmony and balance back into the relationship. But it means having to take a very, very tough stance, a very tough role in the relationship, and to be able to fearlessly call it out and say enough is enough is enough. I have the courage and I have the guts to do this. And I could turn this into a whole movie if you want, but I'm hoping you get the point, Capricorn. I'm going to leave it at that. Be strong, be brave. We know you can handle it. And if this doesn't make any sense, watch for your moon and rising as well. Okay, Capricorn, I've done the best I can here for you. If you need help, of course, you know where to come. So there we go. All the best. Bye-bye.